Mom, have you ever had a murder case? I'm Joseph. This is Input English. I have a story for you today. For those of you joining us for the first time, Input English is a channel created for you for the purpose of using comprehensible input to improve your listening comprehension as well as your speaking ability in English. This channel has a lot of original stories created for you for this purpose. I try to make the stories stand alone, but bear in mind that they are part of a series of stories. If you would like to go to the first story in the series, in the library you will find a video entitled Meet Bobby. That is the first video in this series. Today we're going to join Craig, the older brother of Bobby, and his mother, Kathy. At the moment, Kathy is working in her study at home. She's working on a legal case because Kathy is an attorney. Craig walked into the room and addressed his mother. Mom, have you ever had a murder case? Kathy immediately looked up and put her pen down. As an aside, I should point out that usually when Craig addresses his father, he enters the room and waits for his dad to look up and make eye contact. That's Craig's signal that it's time to speak to his dad. He did not form that habit with his mom for some reason. He usually doesn't wait for her to recognize him. He just says, Mom, and then poses his question or makes his statement. Kathy is very aware of the difference in the way Craig treats his two parents, but she's not troubled by this. She feels that this is fairly natural. She is his mother. She is very caring. She does not make any demands of him how he addresses her. He's always respectful, and she's not bothered by this. But she does notice the difference in his behavior between how he talks to his dad and how he talks to her. Kathy is very used to getting questions from her two boys. Questions come in many forms, and some of them are very easy. Craig might ask, what's the name of that bird? Or what do frogs eat? Many times the questions posed to her are about things that the kids want, an activity they would like to do, or a type of food they would like to have. This question about murder was a bit of a surprise to Kathy. She wasn't sure where that question came from, so that is how she started her response to Craig. She said, where did that question come from? Craig said, oh, I was just thinking about it. I was watching a TV show and they talked about murder, and I think I know what it means. It means to kill someone, but I was just curious whether you'd ever been involved in a murder case. Kathy said, murder's an interesting problem for societies. Since antiquity, societies have struggled with the problem of one person killing another person. There have been a lot of different approaches on how to manage that problem, how to establish justice within a society in the face of one person killing another. It's not a simple topic. I spent many months studying it in law school, and I continue to refine my understanding of the topic every day. Craig followed up with another question. He said, so if one person kills another person, it's always murder, right? His mother smiled and said, no, you just got to the heart of the issue. If one person kills another person, that's called homicide. But not all homicides are murders. That's what the law is all about. A homicide is an event where one person ends the life of another. It's just a fact, an event. But the concept of murder is how society looks at the circumstances of that killing and makes determinations as to whether it was accidental, done on purpose, done because of negligence, done because of recklessness, done as a result of insanity. So it is the legal system that is the way society analyzes the facts around that killing to determine whether it is murder. Craig said, "Oh, I get it. So not every killing is a murder?" Kathy said, "Right." She was thrilled that he was interested in the law at his young age of 11 years. This was very encouraging. The thought flashed into her mind that perhaps this was the beginning of his interest in becoming a lawyer. She didn't dwell on that. He's 11 years old. Kathy went on. She says, television shows frequently give you an unrealistic picture of the law and the way these cases actually go. And screenwriters have to make a story that is very interesting, that will hold the attention of the audience, and frequently even murder cases can become fairly tedious and boring, and if the screenwriters depicted usual murder cases, they would not be very appealing to a television audience. As Craig pondered that, she went on. She said, "The facts matter. Sometimes the facts are really easy to determine. There's a body, there are witnesses, a gun was used, and the language at the time of the killing was that of anger and hatred. That's a pretty straightforward fact pattern to establish murder. What the prosecutor has to show in that case is that the victim was human, the victim was killed, the killing was done by the accused, and that the accused had the necessary mental state to establish guilt. Some killings are by accident. Some are because of negligence. Some are done in self-defense. Some killings are in the line of duty as a police officer or a soldier. The trouble with the mental state of the accused is most accused killers won't tell you what their mental state is, or they might be lying about it. The court has to look at the facts around the killing and infer the mental state of the accused at the time of the killing. At this point, Kathy noticed a change in Craig's expression. His expression suggested to her that she had lost him. She had gotten too technical, and she had given him an answer beyond the scope of his question. So she stopped her law school style lecture on criminal mental state and asked Craig if that answered his question. He said, "Not really. I asked if you'd ever had a murder case." Another aside here, Kathy indeed has participated in murder cases with her law firm. She has not tried a murder case on her own. She is relatively junior in this firm. She has worked with the more senior lawyers in these important cases. A majority of murder cases don't go to trial. They are settled by plea bargain between the lawyer for the accused and the prosecutor. The reason that Craig didn't know if his mom had been involved in murder cases is Kathy doesn't bring her work home. Now, that expression of bringing her work home could mean a couple of different things. One, it could be literal. That is, one could bring home documents and work on them as she does in the study. But in this use of the expression, what I meant was she doesn't bring home the facts of her cases and share them with other members of the family. She keeps her legal practice compartmentalized away from the kids and her husband because they are not involved and they have no need to know any of the facts in these cases. She is very good at keeping things confidential. So she answered Craig's original question. Yes, she has been involved in murder cases in the past, but she has not tried a murder case by herself in a courtroom. This answer got a big smile from Craig. He was clearly satisfied. Kathy picked up her pen from the desk as she continued. She said, if you have any other questions about this, or if you have a lot of interest in this, we can talk again. I get the impression that's enough for now. Craig said, yes, that's what I wanted to know. At that point, he thanked her and departed the room. She looked back down at the documents she had been working on and thought, now where was I? Then she put her pen down, pushed her chair back and relaxed for a second, and thought how interesting that Craig would come in and start asking her questions about the law and justice and crimes. How interesting. She thought to herself, I wonder if Craig is going to turn into a great trial attorney. What sort of career will Craig choose for himself? I invite comments below. And if you like videos like this, be sure to click on this one next. See you soon.